because of interest variable. And I'm a country, the principle where all the goods and come is open and report, there will be competition. And what I'm making here is 15 million annually. I'm making as a profit of 52 million. I'm making annually when I'm making. So I have to stop this. The venture we are on, like I told you from the beginning, it may not work. But people will come in to make sure that the farm people will store it. Because you can be making 50 million, 52 million annually, and somebody wants to create another area that maybe most of the goods will be going. You store it. But your business got to go on. You're not going to do that program. And I hope that will not be on this. There will be a change. The poor of the Ghana have something here. The poor of the Ghana will not make sales like them. The poor of the Ghana will be making close to 20 to 25 million. Because I said that we have to send money from Monrovia here to the NBA. The money will be right in the Ghana. All their payments for the ships that come here will be paid in the Ghana. In Sando, we got palm company, we got logs and other things. Some of the people from Sando can take their logs to Ghana for shipment, or the people from Monrovia for shipment. My friend, Sando will be able to see itself. I met a lot of groups from Africa, like who want to put up Apple. They may be able to put up Apple. They want to take it. They want to modernize it. They tell you again. I said so I want to tell you that this act will pass it. Apple will be born. The people of Apple will be flawed. They will not. One funny thing about the system we are in now, the poor manager of Apple cannot employ anybody. The trouble is going here in Monrovia. So I'll be about something I said so by other people will have for employment. And you have to accept it. Because I'll do employment. I'll be a good man, I can send so good when you are. Not give me answer. You gotta accept it. And the Bible said we have to include into the act all incoming folks. And the inland pool that we bought the land and clear the entire area in Magazine.
Oh, you did well. Congratulations.
We need to include them into it so that when they come, they will have independence. They will be on their own rather than being controlled by the central command and they can do anything for themselves. Even if you want to buy soap to wash the bathroom, when I was manager, you got to approve it to put a bath soap. Like one guy when I point out, manager, I tell my friend, after you go in, you feel bad for yourself, but nothing you will get from that. When it came to him, I agree, you will not get anything. For you to get your rights, the MD will buy the resident in Monrovia and send it to you in Ghana. And only we share residents. So our post is independent. The independence of the post will be fought by business people who understand our ground. We shouldn't put in our argument here and there that will destroy the process. Therefore, I agree that we need standardizing our post, then we move forward. I thank you as well. Thank you.
He ran over me. Is it somebody here?
Thank you, Mr. President of the
I hear you. I'm here.
distinguished colleagues. Let me say, felicitation for the colleagues. I will present my points, I will present my points in the form of a thesis. I'd like to know whether or not Liberia is prepared to grant autonomy to all of the ports in our country at this point. And this question came from the backdrop of a few things, and let me go through them. I'll be quick about it. Have we done any physical analysis to know whether or not these ports will be able to sustain themselves from the get-go, or we will be enlarging the country's envelope? One, and at these facilities, the one in Maryland, Sino, Grand Basso, are they prepared to berth any of these vessels that will bring goods and services to our country at this point? Can they do that? So, Double Brown, I beg you. This we forget. This we forget. And these ports are also ports of entry into the country. Let's not forget that. Now, vessels leaving from other countries will use these ports to come into Liberia. Do we have the facilities to force these people to usher them into our country? Even with the very few people we have here, we have problems. With drugs importation, with drugs importation, with the proliferation of arms and other things in this country, are we prepared to have multiple points of entry at the moment?
Yes.
These are the questions.
How many more questions?
Yeah. You know, quite honestly, Mr. President, no one is against the proliferation of, granting autonomy to these areas. Yes, there are some administrative problems with understanding stated. But let us not forget that these things will cost time. Are we attaching timeline? Because when this thing is endorsed and it's passed into law, it means that it takes immediate effect once it's signed into employment. I'm not asking you. When it's signed into a bill, it takes immediate effect. Then what do we do now? We start looking for money to capacitate these people. Can we add time, a buffer zone to say between here and here, this thing will begin to happen? Is it not possible?
Yes, yes.
All right. If it's possible, why can't we do that? Instead of going to debate this thing, the next thing we know, we go to vote, we endorse it, it goes to the law, and then it goes into heaven. Then we start looking for money now instead of doing the looking for money before we get to that point. These are my concerns.
My colleague have made his position as regarded. I just wanted to join my colleague's food forth earlier. Wanted to join my colleague's food forth earlier.
Because you have to be investigated.
And this action is drawn from the Public Authorities Law of 1973 that established the National Ports Authority. we are amending the provisions of that law in the spirit and with the intent for decentralization of these area courts. There were arguments and debates with the committee. Concerns were raised. Over there, monitor, can you put money themselves? They won't wait later. Every time we wait, we never get there.
No.
We got to start to get there. Another concern that was raised that we want to alleviate that concern. Section 55.1 of the Act to be amended that will create the National People's Authority Board. It says, page 5, page 5, page 5 of the bill for an act for the Liberia People's decentralization and modernization. 55.1 powers of the National Post Authority Board. I want to make something clear here so that we're all on the same page. All powers of the ports of Monrovia, Buchanan, Greenville, and Harper, and ports established year after. We put it in the law. We have the foresight to put it in the law. So, when we decentralize, the port of Monrovia standing on its own, Buchanan, Harper, or Greenville, we envision that there will be subsequent ports in the future. Right. So it's in the law. It answers that concern.
That's good.
I just wanted to make those points clear, Mr. President of the Senate, and that we sign this bill. We sign the report, and we seek the endorsement. Those days, we have the Public Utility Authority. It's called the PUA. I don't know, so they were not here yet.
Don't have visa yet.
PUA, the Public Utility Authority, on which LEC, water and sewer, and all those public utilities providing services to the Republic were under one Public Utility Authority. It was the vision to decentralize and to break them apart so that these entities can run on their own so they can be vibrant. That's why came the LEC, the water and sewer, and other institutions. So, if we don't start this journey now and wait for the time that we get funding to do this, we may never arrive there. Senator Bill Trabway made a case. Decentralization also helps with employment in the various counties. I will not go on the tribal aspect as to what a Bassa man will send to Bassa for the river sense. I mean to Maryland, or it will have put in Nima like that. I would not want to take that line. But if a vessel breath in Maryland, even casual laborer, they gotta work for authority from Monrovia. The port manager or management in Harper have no authority to employ people in Maryland. The authority must come from Monrovia. It will decentralize these ports. It will not only bring about income generation, it will bring about development, it will bring about economic boom in these countries too.
Yeah.
As I said, I agree with my colleague Senator Sir Joseph. That gives only tenants to Liberians.
Yeah.
They play on the board. Most of them And I'm not trying to discourage it. But we must also do a lot on fronting. So now you put Liberian in front. You say they want to put it for Liberian, that the Liberians themselves, they come from for the foreigner.
Exactly.
Going Fiscal, going other places. Liberians are fronting for foreigners who are leasing property and land for more than 25 years. 25 years or 15 years, a whole generation. I think it's a Supreme Court opinion that to lease a property should not go over a generation. But are Liberians leasing, fronting for the very foreigner to lease properties beyond a whole lifespan? So if we want to empower our Liberians, which we must seek to do, the President, the Senate, distinguished colleagues, they must also revert to doing a stringent law on fronting. So that people who are fronting and bypassing the law, if there are PVCC law, we make PVCC law, they will get room for bypass.
Single source.
So now you put single source there to do road construction or single source. To go bypass single source. Everybody bypassing, and PVCC can get no objection. No objection. What else? What is the essence of that law? So we want to empower Liberians. We want to ensure that when we privatize these institutions, when we are granting opportunity for Liberians, then Liberians themselves will face punishment for bypassing or seeking to bypass. I hereby submit in support, firm support of this bills, of these two bills. And if we're ready to vote now, my vote is no, okay, until you come on. Thank you, Mr. Well, no, unless the president is
Senator Boy, Senator Taylor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished senators. I'm always a champion of local decentralization, and I will always want it to be, because it gives authority, it gives support to the locals. But I come from the background of trying to put in our own advice. When we're creating a new bureaucracy in our governance structure, we have always taken a decision to look at the fiscal impact analysis of that bureaucracy we're trying to create. As we speak currently, the food is assessed a little over $5 million for contribution to the consolidated account. And the budget will be coming before us. Our assessment will be placed in there. And based on that assessment, corresponding expenditure will also be established. We are also talking about decentralization that will take away from the heavy bureaucracy that the Monrovia Port has enjoyed over the years. Have we done the fiscal impact analysis? If the decentralization comes about, those that have employment status with the port here, what will be their fate? If they are staying there, will their stay help the government to raise the necessary revenue from the operation of the port so that we can engage other development sector? I mean, these are questions that are running through my mind. What is the intake of the harbor port right now? That if a bureaucracy is established there in terms of creating a board employing most of the Maryland citizens to work. With that, turnover of the port be able to sustain the workforce in the immediate term, like others have expressed. So if the committee did those kinds of forecasts in terms of what it would take us as a country for the current contribution to the consolidated account, if it is not possible, what will be the projects that will be affected? What will be those social development services that will be affected? Have we done that? Okay, so these are things that we have to look at so that we can see another group coming from like the bridge and waterway people always here. They were putting money for them in the budget. It's not forthcoming. So when you take away the independence of the port, the different ports, all that funding that have been generated, that making this port capacitated to employ the current employees that are there now, would they not be harmed? And then they start to seek refuge here. Have we look at their books to see whether they can sustain it? If those ones are clear, then as elders of the land, those decisions can be made. But just by rolling out the current decentralization law that was passed since 2018, we noticed that some of the counties have not even started to implement, to even form the county council to begin to handle their own revenue activities. The revenue sharing law to even take effect is going to almost 6-7 years, which is something that we are determined to do. But can we learn from what the decentralization law, what making it to be very slow in its implementation, so that we're creating another bureaucracy or decentralizing, we will learn from our mistakes, those things that we didn't capture, so that we capture them in the law that will be acceptable for execution. It's not just to make a law, but the execution be a little difficult. These are just my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate and colleagues. And let me extend my thanks and appreciation to the committee for the job done so far. You know, I heard my colleagues talking about physical space. I will not be dwelling on physical space, but I will be speaking on the empowerment of Liberian businesses and trying to encourage Liberians to take on the economies of this country. And if we should do that, then we have to be strong enough. I am supporting the bill that calls for the autonomy and decentralizing the port. And I want to agree with Senator Joseph, who said that we should give first preference to Liberians, or we should exclusively give right to Liberians if there should be people who want to help to invest in the port. We should give that right to Liberians. For example, we stay here in Liberia, every day we call Ghana, when we say we are running to Ghana. If you want Ghana to establish one business, if you don't put a Ghanaian before that business, it will never be registered. Even the Bar Association agree on that. It is not a law, but they agree. You can carry 10 billion out of there, you have to put a Ghanaian before it. If we start doing that, we have to create the middle class. We stood right here as a country and we said, openly, we are unable to take care of our ports. We get the aviation terminal to run it. They took our own money right here in the bank and they're running it. Nothing so far in our port. If you bury a continue there, that cannot come. You almost lost all your profit if you are a business person. I would prefer to take my container to Grand Bassa and transport it from Grand Bassa to Monrovia That will help me to be successful if I'm a businessman. I would say I support the bill, and the clause that they don't read over the additional posts will be affected by that law positively. We should make it strong enough. Because I know Kidman will have a post very soon. And that post in Kidman will help to develop Kidman. And for that post, we're not giving the foreign money. We have to be nationalistic.
Mr. Brian.
No, that's my position. We take the issue on behalf of our people. We take the issue on behalf of our people.
Why, Mr. President?
Because if you look at the entire Liberia, you know, sometimes we start to follow the American policy and we want to copy the things that happen in America, but we don't have that economic strength. For example, we have 800, and the highest budget we have here is 850 million. If you divide that money by 6 million people, everybody will be on $141 annually. Yes, a poor country. A poor country. That each of your citizens will depend on the national budget annually $141. What are we doing? So I will support that. A lot of people will come to store it, they will come up with all the bureaucracy, they shouldn't have me, fiscal analysis, and we're doing all of fiscal analysis, wasting our time. We are just empowering somebody else to help build the country. So I would say we should pass the bill if we have all of them now. I'm talking about the inclusion of all countries that will be merged with the inland code and the rest of it. I think we should pass the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Smith. Chief von Smith.
Thank you, President of the Senate. Let me express my appreciation to this joint committee for this excellent work that will move our country forward. Mr. President, our country is running at a standstill because it lacks self-confidence. At the start of democracy, the journey that we are enjoying now, when the country was under one-party system, the name democracy and multi-party system was a foreign ideology. So we oppose it. Today, we are benefiting from it. When we have only ERBC and ERWA was restricted to their relations message to liberalize the airwaves of this country, we oppose it. Organizations, journalists with human rights or media rights and journal, some of them pay the high price. People want to prison here just to liberalize the airwaves. We lack confidence in everything. No, I'm setting examples of steps. And so we always say that we're not ready yet. We're not ready yet. We have not been ready for the days of Adam. And we will not be ready until kingdom come. But we have to move ahead. And so, joint committee, Let me tell you that on behalf of the people of Rivers and in support of the position of Senator Tuawe, we support this bill 100%, and if there is anything above 100%. The only thing is, let's not go to the draft. We have few concerns. When we talk about housekeeping in the draft bill, that's all. But in support of the decentralization, we support it. Other provisions of the draft talk about future boards that will be coming up, which is good. But then when you look at the introduction, it is somehow restrictive to the full existing ports. And so I think there should be a generic phrase in there that will cover any future ports, which you will look at that. When you look at the analysis, talking about the National Ports Authority Board, I think that has been addressed. And we will need a national regulatory board or agency. We have to address that. Under the same analysis, there's a sentence there that talks about the administrative authority. The board shall comprise of citizens and legislators. Okay, because I have a problem with it. And so, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, senators, distinguished senators, we support the decentralization of the ports. This country got to move forward. Thank you very much.
Senator Twice and Shields and Tyler in our from that time of July. Yeah, you were closing.
The President and Honorable President of the Honorable Liberian Senate, distinguished colleagues. My view on this bill probably has changed so many times during these debates. So I think based upon the input of different senators, I'm arriving at a conclusion. Initially, I was going to announce my opposition to this bill, but I think we've been convinced enough with some amendments that it will be a good thing. Thank you. The timing of it will also be considered in our expose. Now we think that given the current, whether we're facing the law or not, given the current assessment of the National Port Authority, I think any law that will be passed should be given some time to be implemented. And as such, in addition to that, when you're talking about ports, I come from Nimba County where there is a dry port. And our port needs development as well. Nimba borders two major economic powerhouses in the ECOWAS region, Guinea and Ivory Coast. As you can see, if you've ever been in Ganta or Sanikule or any of the major cities or the towns, you will see huge trucks parking for days with goods on them because there is no storage, there is no port. It was against that background that the National Port Authority and stakeholders study-wise to put a dry port in Nimba County. And I would like this bill to address all of the rural ports, be it dry, sea, or whatever, to be included in this dry line. That's the only way we'll get my vote. So that the port and dry port in Nimba can be included so that that poultry can be developed, if privatized or decentralized or what have you. We cannot continue to make laws and establish institutions that are not functional, and then the ones that are dead, and then we cherry pick them and make them more functional and forget about the other ones. I would think that the port that was in the draft port in Lima is just as important as the port in Greenville. They are all lying in ruins, dormant and non-functional. So that would be my amendment to that as well. And yeah, I think those were my points that I've made. And then with those amendments, and giving the time frame should be extended. We should not just pass the law and rush it. All of those fiscal analysis, the different economic analysis should be made. But I must register here as a concern. In as much as you will read my vote based upon the amendments that I propose, I would think that privatizing these ports would have been much better than decentralization. It would have been good. We were getting much more economically than putting info in liking our government and putting managing directors who will bring deputy managing director, operational, this, that, and what have you. We should be trying now to move towards partnership in this century, whereby we bring companies in and they take over our infrastructure, our resources, and then we get to divide the profit that will be thereof instead of being concession or decentralizing and making our government bigger. So, Mr. President, thank you for this opportunity. I will pause here and wait for the committee appropriately adapting some of the points that I made to be able to get my vote on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, President. I will say that I support both bills. I support the bundling of the fourth facilities. The real component as named. Last week, Tuesday, when I had the opportunity for 3 minutes on our experiences during the break, I mentioned that in Grand Crew, have the GBL and the farm farming. And both Grand Crew and GBL in Grand Crew and MOPP in Maryland have a mill, use fruit farm, and by right, the exports are being through the port of Apple. But because there are no facilities at the port of Apple, there will be no development there. All our farms go to Cote d'Ivoire. So we are losing. When will it be time for us to rehabilitate that post? That's the regional post. And I strongly believe that if they are independent, they can still be privatized. There's no reason. It doesn't matter whether they are independent or not. So I propose decentralization and the establishment of all the established year after.
People try to speak up.
But my only issue is which bill are we dealing with? Because there are a lot of issues, structural issues, grammatical issues, literary issues with these bills here. But I'm told that these are not the red bills. So in voting, we would like to know which votes, which bill will be voted on. Because we can't vote, because there are issues. There are issues. Also, I will make sure, because there's some overlapping in this bill, I will make sure that the powers conveyed in the regulatory agency don't overlap with the established entities. Those are big clear. So we need to do some structural adjustment in this bill. So I will propose that we clean up and the bill be returned to committee room to do some work on it.
Yeah, so go ahead. As you tell
Okay.
Yeah, President, thank you.
Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, I listened to the view of our colleagues across the floor, and I think we are all speaking positively towards the passage of the bill. But just as the Chief said, we need to incorporate all of the good ideas, the suggestions, take the bill back to the committee room, clean it up, and bring it to full term of passage. So that when we pass it, we know exactly what we pass it. That's just a confusion. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, the meeting is not over yet. Okay, let me tell you, Mr. President, it is difficult sometimes when the debate starts afresh, but as we go along, it becomes clearer and better. In between, it was similar that two different things were discussing. So, but right now we realize that the emphasis here, the suggestion here for the bill is to decentralize. It's not to privatize. That is 1 mile away. Privatization is 1 mile away. All the posts are government posts. And the way the government posts were decentralized. After that, the suggestion for privatization will be the next based on the assessment. Second, concomitantly, okay. Privatization is a very good idea. I guess that step 1 is to decentralize to give a waiting period. So that, you see, people talk about APN terminal. APN terminal has not taken over the port. There was a war prescription that services be privatized. Then the port remained a government port. The intent of the APN terminal was to provide continuous services. Because the whole level upside down. You go to the port, you pay me drive. Continue all over the place, no memory. That was the intent of the ATM terminal. And it does working well. Because we then have in Nigeria when we understand it all. To bring back the privatization from the war decision. So even 1 year before this. So if you ever go to all these ports, APN terminal may find its way there for container services or other services. So don't rule that out. Nigerians may be giving services at those places, which is a good idea. But the port will always be government ports, from what I see. Unless you say the NPA total will be your privatized, then you will privatize the children. So, 2, liberalization has been part of most of our laws. We have to look at the performance, look at the BPCC Act. We ensure that there is a threshold for Liberians to participate in procurement. How well is that practice? So, I'm happy that we have agreed to take all the suggestions on board, but the agreement of decentralization, after which we will have a study for privatization and have the PPP, public-private partnership, which is the easiest way to bring the government and private sector together. So, as a member of the committee, I will talk less and think of the Senate. Yeah, I will talk less and to appreciate all of the comments as they filter into the committee room for conversation. Some of these comments will make their way in the eye, some will not. So that's the insurance thing. Everything will not go in the eye. Otherwise, we'll have an encyclopedia. Thank you.
So we have Senator Sarah Momo, Senator Prince Justice, and Bodo Kana. And we'll take the. You want your friend to tell you to talk about that?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Presiding, President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues. I want to use this opportunity to actually appreciate the committee for the work regarding the decentralization of foods in Liberia. You know, I always remind myself of the first day I stood in this chamber. And it was said here that if this 55th legislature do not move this country forward, we should just sell the country. Yeah, I remember that very well. And the reason why I keep thinking about this is because we are 177 years, but we are among the first 10 poorest country in the world. And we have all of these endowments. Liberia have got the best food in the world, best diamond, best iron. But we are where we are, very poor. And I guess the reason we are poor is, and let me just commend the preacher this morning. That sermon was touching. Yes. Integrity. She spoke highly about integrity. And she spoke about us working for the generation unborn. Today we are in the Senate. We will be here for 6 years. We'll be here for 9 years. It will be gone. And the generation unborn will benefit from these decisions that we are about to make. So, having said that, Mr. Presiding, I want to commend all of my colleagues who are speaking in favor of this organization. I stay here as an entrepreneur who have employed over 3,000 Liberians in 13 of the 15 counties. Most of where the posts are, I have employment there. Yes. I have employment there. And if you privatize the port or you decentralize them, we participate. As an entrepreneur, we participate. And that could just bring forward income to Liberia because Liberians get rich, the money is here, it stays here. When the foreigners get richer, the money flies out of this country. And if we have to be serious about our country, let's be thinking in this direction. So I want to appreciate the community for this. We will support this, right? We will vote for it, and Liberia will benefit. Thank you.
Thank you, VP. Mr. Presiding, the issue has been discussed right now regarding decentralization is one of the reasons why I have to support the development of this center. Our founding father of this country, in their wisdom, established a unitary system for control purpose, administratively, the executive controls. And we have to support this centralization, which is my choice also. Let's be holistic. want the election, because every time we talk about election of parliamentary, they will say the fiscal space, no money here. But the port, we found money for it. We want election of our superintendent, our parliamentary, our city mayor, the local officials, so that the government from the executive end will no longer be intimidated when it comes to election. They will be on their own. They can only be removed for cost. But as we stand, we're talking about this centralization report. In my mind is part of the devolution of power we're talking about. Maybe honesty. I hear put on the report. We also heard that the Minister of Internal Affairs, the President is about to appoint parliamentary meeting. I read about that. But that's devolving the power in totality. If there is no money to have election for the local officials, then why should we not focus on the poor? You have managing director, deputy managing director, you have the structure in place. They require money. There is no money, and that's why my son, my colleague, saying that they don't stood here say we'll reduce our money because there's no money. So,
That bill coming next week.
So, this about President colleague. I support the decentralization, but it should not be built in pieces.
Senator of Neighbor Captain, Senator Prince Yomi Johnson.
The President of the Senate, the Pro Tem, distinguished police, I want to say thank you to the committee for this brilliant idea. It's good for the people of Liberia. But one thing I want to say here is that I want to give example on JFK. JFK have been under the government for the time being until they became autonomous. We are seeing what is happening at the JFK. We have to be very careful. It's good for decentralization. It's good for all what we think about, but we have to be very robust. And another thing again, I want to understand about the board and the managing director, because the board is appointed by the president. The managing director is also appointed by the president. And the managing director is working with the will and pleasure of the president. How are they going to work? That is a question that needs to be answered. Because the board has tenure, but the managing director does not have a tenure. Are they going to work together or with a pleasure? The question goes to the committee and I need an answer. Thank you.
So two things. From the floor I'm hearing, we pass it with all of the suggestions and the committee do the final cleaning and keep carpet. Or you want to clean it first and bring carpet before you go?
Yes. No.
Senator McGill, put that into motion, I think.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I rise for the purpose of making a motion, having listened to the very extensive debate
move therefore that the recommendations of the committee in principle, in concept, be accepted with the following recommendation: that the bill be taken back to the committee to do cleaning up and break the two bill into a separate.
But they are already
Okay, the clean up the bill and incorporate all the necessary amendments.
That's it.
Yeah, incorporate all the necessary amendments.
So second.
Thank you.
So second.
If we move to include a managing director be confirmed by the Liberian Senate, and a transition provision also included. No, in the structure.
It's very important.
In the regulatory management.
Transitional. Yeah,
It's going to be the last time around.
Did I hear a second?
Yeah, second.
If we move a second, all the recommendations. In fact, we accept the concept. The principle. So we're not coming back to change it again. So we accept the concept. Right. And whenever the committee is doing that, they're going to clean it up and incorporate the recommendation and bring it.
Yeah.
I got the secretariat to note on every speaker, and so the committee will work with the secretariat to make sure they incorporate it. And when you share it, if there are other colleagues that think there are some vital issues that are not included, they can also read it from So if we move and second it, that the bill be sent back to the committee to include all of the recommendations that are important to this bill. Somebody amen. But we're accepting the concept. Yeah, the concept is accepted. And then all the recommendations, the committee capture them, and then bring the final bill for voting. It will only be coming back for voting. No.
Already.
Are you ready to vote? Well, already now.
Mr. President, I will be ready to vote if the movement can specifically articulate the time that this clean copy will be distributed before session. We don't want a situation where it will be given on the morning of session day.
You may want to 1 week.
Good. 1 week prior to the committee. All right. So you accept, right?
Yeah, 1 week.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you saying the clean copy should be given a member 1 week prior to voting?
Yes.
I didn't say that. Let me restate my readiness. Let me restate my readiness. Probably I need to add the time. I will be ready to vote if the movement can accept that the clean copy will be distributed 2 days before session. Yeah, but I follow. So I wanted the flow to carry. Let the record show. Thank you.
I can hear that order.
Report from Steering Committee.
Let's sit it. Let's sit it. Refer that to let's sit it.
I can make an announcement before
Let's sit it.
So we'll take an amendment and put them.
Yeah.
And then 2 more items on the agenda next session.
Further Senate distinguished colleagues. Distinguished colleagues. This is to announce that the Senate will be having a consultative meeting right after session. We're asking all senators to be there. We will be discussing the issue in the lower house. And after that meeting, we'll speak to the press. Thank you.
The secretary got something to read, maybe I can read it on there.
Mr. President, officer, and distinguished members of the Senate, I wish to inform the Committee on Commerce, Trade and Industry. Committee on I wish to inform the Senate Committee on Commerce, Trade and Industry that we have received and disclosed the Secretary reading a communication. You invited someone and the Secretary reading on the phone appeared today due to illness.
Who?
Order.
President, there is not a plenary issue. This is a committee issue. Every committee has its own charge. Please put
Order sustained. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So folks, wherever you watch this live broadcast, good afternoon. My name is Vyasa Suba. I've been here bringing you all of the live coverage from the House of the Senate. So today, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Jeremiah Falcon, presided on the session. So wherever you are, however you watch this live broadcast, do have yourself a pleasant time. Thank you very much.